enforcers of law who are tasked with maintaining public order, protecting individuals and property, and preventing and investigating crimes. That is what being a police officer means, or at least that's what they are trying to do. Instances have aroused where police officers have misused their authority, employed excessive force, and violated people's rights, particularly those from marginalized communities, leading to distrust and fear of law enforcement. Are they subjected to such power? What are the legal repercussions for them, however? And most of all, would they be treated differently when compared to the masses? Join us as we take a closer look at two of the most uncanny cases that could make question the judicial system as a whole. Our first case kicks off with the case of Harold Hill, which is just a perfect example of how our justice system can go wrong. This case definitely checks all the boxes, including a horrific rape and murder, as well as a mishandled conviction, you name it. So then what went about? Let's start with the so-called beacons of justice, Kenneth Bordeaux and John Halloran, the detectives who were assigned to the case and the beacons of law. They were the ones who managed to extract a confession from Peter Williams, who was later discovered to have been in custody when the crime was committed. How did they even produce a fabricated confession from someone who wasn't even present? Hill claims he was physically and mentally tortured until he confessed to crimes he didn't commit. Is this the kind of conduct we anticipate from our law enforcement personnel? The trial itself was held when Hill was 31 years old, despite the fact that he was only 16 at the time of the crime and was therefore tried as an adult. At this point, it's just not fair, and it's incomprehensible what Hill is going through. Given that neither of the defendants had a criminal history prior to the incident, this is an intriguing move by the prosecution. Hill and Young were given a life without parole sentence after the jury found them guilty of the murder. However, 13 long years later, DNA tests showed that neither of the defendants' cellular components found under Kathy Morgan's fingernails, nor the hair found at the crime scene matched either of them. Imagine the sheer suffering Hill endured for something he didn't do. It continues to amaze me how Hill managed to hang on to his life. The prosecutors disputed the findings despite this evidence, claiming that the hairs had nothing to do with the crime and that the cellular material might have come from sweat or drool that the recovery teams had left behind. Even in the face of such overwhelming evidence, it's shocking that the prosecutors were so resistant. Young was killed in a hit-and-run incident shortly after Harold and Young were finally let out of jail. This almost leads us to believe that this is almost a plot to clip both of them. Hill, on the other hand, accused the city of Chicago, the police, and the two detectives involved in the case of coercing a confession and violating his civil rights in a complaint he filed against them. The case was resolved for $1.25 million, of which Hill received $500,000 and the remainder was paid to the lawyers. It's surprising that the detectives were only asked to make a pitiful $7,500 payment for their roles in this whole fiasco. You think that's all? Wait until you hear this. It should be noted that Hill is currently serving a 27-year sentence after being found guilty once more of an unrelated charge of armed robbery. In spite of this, it is obvious that Harold Hill was let down by the legal system in the past. This case emphasizes the need for justice system reform to prevent erroneous convictions and make sure that those who abuse their power are held accountable. Starting with the investigation and continuing through the trial and conviction, the Harold Hill case is a tragedy of errors. Hill was wrongfully detained for 13 years, and because the system made him a criminal, he was never given the opportunity to adapt to life outside of prison. He was completely screwed over by the system, and the police only received $7,500 each. When police officers commit acts like the ones they did, they should be imprisoned for a minimum of the same amount of time as the victims they imprisoned. Up next, we have an oddball in the form of Sergeant Mario Cardona versus Daniel Garza. After being thrown and pinned to the ground, Daniel Garza was rendered helpless. Officer Mario Cardona, a longtime friend of Garza's, was on the verge of breaking his wrist. Confronting a criminal and keeping him confined is one thing, but putting a civilian without a reason is shocking. Garza recalled, I was trying to be a man and trying to hold in the pain, but man, that wrist lock hurts. He's just bending it and bending it. But why did Cardona go so far as to nearly break his wrist? His actions were apparently driven by rage toward Garza, whom he accuses of attempting to kidnap his stepdaughter. But are cops subjected to such an authority in the first place? It appears that the two men had a long history together because Garza had once dated Naomi Villanueva, the stepdaughter of Cardona. Villanueva left her parents' home to live with a friend because the relationship had reached its breaking point. However, Villanueva was allegedly taken from her friend's home in May 2015 by Garza without her consent and brought to her parents' residence in Whittier, where Cardona lived across the street. Garza was performing pilates in his garden when Cardona saw him and told him to go to the street. Cardona started his assault as soon as Garza sat down. Garza claimed that he was not the aggressor, and a neighbor who saw the incident attested to Garza's innocence. As soon as they arrived on the scene, the sheriff's deputies saw redness on Garza's face, bruises and abrasions on his knees, and redness on his wrist. After Garza complained about Cardona, the city of Los Angeles, Chief Beck, and Cardona were named as defendants in a federal lawsuit. Garza claimed that he had been the victim of a false arrest, an arbitrary search and seizure, overuse of force, an assault and battery, negligence, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The trial also featured a video of the incident captured by one of Garza's neighbors. They had made up a story of what had happened to make him look like a hero, and me look like a criminal, Daniel Garza. The hearing was presided over by U.S. District Judge Stephen V. Wilson, who heard former Deputy City Attorney Michael Amarian speak in defense of the city. Cardona was found to have acted maliciously as an off-duty officer by the jury, and on June 26, 2017, he was ordered to pay Garza $210,000 in damages. In addition, the court added $664,000 in attorney's fees and $26,000 in post-trial costs. The city of L.A. refused to take responsibility for Cardona's actions and even refused to indemnify the officer, forcing him to pay for the charges out of his pocket. Jim DeSimone, Garza's attorney, claims, "This is the problem with the LAPD. This is why people are out on the street." The incident serves as an example of how police can abuse people and get away with it. In this instance, however, Garza was able to confront the authorities who had infringed upon his rights and prevail in his lawsuit against Cardona. It is clear that police officers cannot get away with using excessive force against citizens after the jury found Cardona guilty of malice. It is important to note that this case also emphasizes how crucial it is for citizens to be aware of their rights and to speak out against law enforcement when they believe those rights have been violated. Garza's decision to accuse Cardona of using excessive force and file a complaint against him demonstrates that people can take legal action to stop police brutality. What do you think of these cases? Which do you think is most unfair? Sound off in the comments below and make sure to let us know if we missed out on anything. While you are at it, make sure to hit that subscribe and leave a like to never miss an update from us. Thanks for watching.
Put your hands behind your back.
Stop!
Put,
Stop!
Stop! Stop! Put your hands behind your back. Okay, well,
The video shows body cam footage from a confrontation with police in Brookings, Oregon. Jennifer Gaiman, a disabled lady, was detained by police for riding her mobility scooter on the sidewalk without a helmet. Jennifer, however, was well within her rights to use the sidewalk for her scooter because she is a disabled citizen. The cops, alas, had a different take on the situation.
Okay, well, I'm trying to get my camera on real quick. Okay, so let you know, conversation being recorded. Are you able to turn that music down a little bit just so we can talk better? Okay.
I just want to go home. It's freezing.
It is
Yo,
cold.
why are you stopping me then? I've
Okay,
been watching this thing for over 2 years
I'm
now.
gonna explain it to you in a second. We're stopping you because you're on a sidewalk with it.
Yeah,
you rode
because
through
it
a
is
crosswalk.
it's a legal thing on a sidewalk. Look it up. It's a mobile scooter. It's a fucking mobile scooter.
Okay. It's an electronic scooter.
Yeah, it's a mobile scooter. Okay, do you understand what that means? It's my mobile scooter. It's how I get around. I don't have a car.
Quickly, Jennifer called the police and explained that she was a pedestrian because of her scooter. The uninformed officers, however, continued to approach even after she explained the situation. Officers kept calling it an electronic scooter, most likely so they could write her a ticket.
Yeah, it's like Iris. He goes up. Yeah, because I'm getting pissed off.
Why are you getting...
Because I want to go home. You guys are pulling me over for no reason.
We're on
It's
a
like
lawful traffic
Iris. It's like Iris. You know Ira, the blue guy with the guy who's riding there? It's exactly like his, except it's got 2 seats.
stop.
That's all it is.
It's electronic
Why?
scooter.
Exactly.
Do you deny that it's electronic scooter?
It's not electronic scooter, and I can ride it on a sidewalk.
Is it gas powered?
No, it's not gas.
Okay.
I
So
gotta
it's
go.
electronic.
I'm cold. You guys are cold.
You're not free to leave.
Yeah, I am.
No, you're
No, you're
not.
not.
Yeah, I am, because you legally cannot stop me.
You're lawfully detained right now. You are
For what?
literally on a lawful
For
traffic
what?
stop. You see those red and blue lights?
For what, though?
Are you going to
Give
let
me-
me explain it?
Yeah, because you don't have a reason to. You guys are legally, you're taking my disability act and you're throwing it in the garbage.
I have
This
no
is
idea
my
what you're talking
disability scooter. This is how I get around, and you know that. You've seen me many times around this town riding it.
about. Okay, are you going to let him explain to you why you're actually on a lawful traffic stop?
Okay, so we stopped you because it was actually looked up before, okay? You can't ride this in a crosswalk and on the sidewalk.
Are you kidding me? So the mobile scooters that ride around here, all these old people can't ride them on the sidewalk?
Nope, not according to the Oregon Department of Transportation. I'll look it up for you, just so you can know that I'm not messing with you, and he's not messing
Okay, so I'll let everybody know that you guys have bad laws in this town, and that people
It's
that have
Oregon.
disabilities.
It's an Oregon
No, you know
Department
what?
of
That's disabilities. Okay? These people ride these scooters for disability. You want them riding on the streets so they get hit by a car? You're kidding me.
I don't make the rules.
Yeah, well.
Grab some information.
Jennifer was lawfully arrested, and police asked her to see her identification before releasing her. Jennifer was at first hesitant to give her ID, but in the end she did so to speed things up. Several tickets, mostly for driving offenses, were written for Jennifer by the police over the course of around 15 minutes.
No, I know. I've had a citation. Thank you. You're not doing your job. You're not going to be protecting because those people
So I'm trying to issue a citation right now.
Okay, come on, hurry up.
Which is actually causing me to pay more attention to your aggressiveness, which is so you're trying to reach across and out of my hand again. Would you help me? You understand that? 4 days to get the block here.
Yeah, of course it did.
The 6th of December.
Yes. I'll double check just to make sure since it didn't bleed through.
Jennifer was followed by the police all the way to her house, where they remained stationed the entire time. Jennifer was forcefully arrested after police arrived at her garage and filed charges of disorderly behavior and eluding arrest.
Why are you taking this long?
Put your hands behind your back.
Stop!
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 Put your hands behind
I
your back.
didn't do anything wrong. I was gonna take this home.
Okay, well, we disagree on that. You're under arrest.
You're happy, huh? That I'm getting arrested, aren't you?
He wasn't even there.
I'm getting arrested because I pissed myself, and this is a mobile scooter. I've been riding this around town for a month, years, and you guys know it.
Jennifer was shockingly found guilty on the felony counts and given a 5-day jail term and an 18-month probation period at first. Jennifer, however, decided to launch a lawsuit against the city of Brookings and appeal her conviction on the grounds that she had been wrongfully imprisoned and that her rights under the Disability Act had been infringed upon. The judge sided with Jennifer this time. Her conviction was overturned, and she received a $500,000 payout from the city of Brookings. Now let's move on to our next video. In this video, an unidentified neighbor calls the police to report a domestic disturbance, and the officer's response is caught on camera. The caller said that their 87-year-old mother is being verbally abused, so the police were sent to the scene. However, the reality of the issue turned out to be more nuanced and complex than had been anticipated.
Your mother.
Do you believe,
I have
after
seen your
hearing my mother,
that she is in danger.
I heard arguing, and I need to make sure everybody's okay inside the house.
What did you hear? What was said?
I just heard yelling. I couldn't hear
You
what
just
was
heard yelling. And didn't I not explain to the yelling? Did she not explain to you the yelling? She told you she's fine.
Okay.
She's sitting on the toilet, and you have to go and see her.
I do, yes.
The police arrested the man, who we'll call Papa Meatball, outside the residence. They told him that he had to see proof that someone else was there. The neighbor walks up to the conflict and gives a very brash but honest justification. When there is a domestic disturbance, the patrol supervisor is the first person to be absent from the response. Any officer, regardless of jurisdiction, who responds to a domestic violence call involving another officer.
Right.
Okay.
Go get somebody now.
1Q32 is phone. Can you start get a check on our female? We'll have an ambulance come.
You'll have the ambulance come in and look at her, too.
The ambulance will be here as well.
Right. And you're going to pay for it.
Okay. That's not necessarily what's going to happen.
Well, I'm not paying for nothing. My mom's not paying for nothing because you are forcing this upon us. This intrusion is so fucking unnecessary. You have no idea how hard it is to take care of old people.
I'm sure it's extremely difficult. But I just have a responsibility to make sure everybody's okay, and that's why I'm here.
You don't have the responsibility. A medical person has the
I have to
responsibility.
ensure that there's nothing.
Is required by the model policy on police officer domestic abuse to immediately request the presence of a supervisor from the responding agency. The policy stresses the difficulty that the responding officer faces if left to respond alone or with police of the same or lower rank as a suspect officer. This problem is easily solved by the arrival of a superior commander. Both cops involved in this event were patrol officers and not supervisors.
I'm a caretaker. My mom is 87 years old and she's deaf. And I have to yell at her when she's in the shower to get her to hear my instructions. So the neighbors called the police on me because they think I'm screaming and damaging my mom. And they won't take my word for it. I opened the door. They asked my mom if she's fine. She said, yes, I'm freezing because I'm naked on the toilet. Yet they won't take her word for it either. And I'm not about to let a cop in my house to see my naked mother. Do you understand what's going on here now? Have I explained myself?
At the same time, they asked if they might come in and see how Mom was doing, but Papa Meatball said no. If permission is granted, the police can enter and search the property in question as part of the standard routine for police responses. Police must independently verify the presence of bruises and other signs of physical altercation in order to establish probable cause. As the supervisor is being briefed on the issue, he learns that his 59-year-old paraplegic brother also lives at the residence. It's now obvious that shouting alone isn't enough to warrant an arrest. As a result, the police have no grounds to interfere or resort to physical force. Medical personnel arrive shortly after, and the supervisor lets them in to check on her mother. He briefs them before the examination so that they may better understand what they're looking at.
Rolo! I only need one of you. Rolo, in the house. Yeah.
Papa Meatball's tone of seriousness and irony in evaluating the cops is hard to argue with because he seemed to be correct. We believe the police should have let the caretaker dress his 87-year-old mother before taking her away from him. There have been no developments or court proceedings reported since this video was made. However, the police could be held liable for obstructing the caretaker's ability to do his job if medical personnel uncover any symptoms of cold or flu caused by the mother's exposure to the cold while confined in the toilet. Now let's move to our final clip.
Okay. Give me some space, dude.
Go ahead and turn.
Give me some space,
Put your hands
dude.
behind your back.
No, give me some. Ow! Oh my.
YouTuber and First Amendment auditor Joshua Roberts set out to investigate the public spaces near Dove Technologies in Florence on September 9th, 2022. Two workers contacted him after discovering his recording of their workplace and voicing their displeasure. An employee took an aggressive tack, reaching for his camera and trying to take it from him. Roberts explained to them that he was acting within the law and threatened to use a taser on them if they persisted in their assault. After hearing his warning, the two workers retreated. Then one of them called for a co-worker whom she apparently refers to as her spouse, although we have no more details about this person at this time. The Florence County Sheriff's Office responded to the scene, thus he may have been connected to them.
Who are you?
You don't have my signed authorization to have my face on that camera. Turn it off.
Can I have your signed authorization? This guy's coming up aggressive, everyone. Can I help you?
No, can you help us?
Yo, get away from me, buddy.
No, dude. Who are you?
Get away from me, dude.
Why are you here?
Back the...
Why are you here?
I suggest you leave me alone.
You're on private property.
I suggest you do something about that then and get back inside.
Ooh. Really?
Yeah, really. You like going around people like this?
You know
think
what?
that's fun? Don't touch my buddy.
One of the workers complained to management that Roberts was trespassing on company property. Roberts refuted the claim by saying he was actually on an easement. An easement is a restricted, non-possessory right of use over another person's land under South Carolina law. Neither the grantor nor the grantee may alter the location, size, or scope of the gift without the other party's consent after it's been made. A South Carolina power pole crosses the property, establishing an easement as seen in the video. Since the electric pole is considered public property, Roberts is within his rights to be near it. Since a utility easement does not instantly change into public property, the workers were also within their rights to claim the land as their own private property. The workers then called the police, who responded quickly to the building. When asked what happened, Roberts said he was assaulted and gave his version of the events.
What's going on, bud? Coming, man.
Oh, nothing. Just getting assaulted out here. That's about it.
Get assaulted.
Yeah, by one of their workers.
What happened?
I was just out here taking some pictures, and one of the guys came out here saying he didn't want to be filmed, and he ran up to me, started circling me, grabbed my camera, started pushing up on me.
A third-degree assault and battery is defined in Section 16-3600, subsection E1 of the South Carolina Code of Laws as any unlawful effort to injure another person with the current ability to do so. Willfully and deliberately destroying any type or class of personal property or another person's goods and channels is also prohibited by Section 16-11-510. Possible violations of these two laws included the employee's hostile attitude, and one of them attempting to take Robert's camera, potentially with a purpose to destroy it. At some point, one of the officers started talking to the workers while the other kept talking to Roberts. It's important to point out that Roberts acted in a provocative manner the entire time they spoke. The presence of First Amendment auditors and their predisposition to be provocative has long been acknowledged by the Municipal Association of South Carolina. Therefore, authorities and officers inside the state have been given instructions on how to deal with contacts with them. The first three cops tried to handle the situation professionally, despite Roberts' provocative behavior. When Sergeant Paul Morrison joined the others, though, things began to change. Morrison claimed that he routinely kept this close proximity when interrogating a suspect, and he did so while talking to Roberts. Morrison tackled Roberts to the ground and tried to damage his camera by stomping on it without giving him any advance warning that he might be arrested. Roberts revealed video from the body camera purportedly showing Sergeant Morrison attempting to erase footage. Frustrated, Roberts said, "That's why I was trying to show him when he was all throwing me on the ground, and I'm like, at least turn off the camera." Sergeant Morrison may have attempted to alter or destroy proof of his wrongdoing. Roberts was successful in retrieving all of his videos. As a result, an internal affairs investigation was launched when he lodged a written complaint against the officer. Sergeant Morrison was forced to resign as a result of the investigation. In a statement released after the event, Sheriff T.J. Joy Lehner said that Sergeant Morrison had broken several policies. The Florence County Sheriff's Office has decided to let Sergeant Morrison go as a result. The First Amendment rights of residents and tourists of Florence County were underlined by Sheriff Lehner. The 12th Century Solicitor's Office is now in charge of the case.